On. No? What the fuck? You're like a wasp.
Ring, 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 hello, Simpson virgins and women of morals, and welcome back to Krown's magical doom cave!
Oh my god. Wow, you almost salvaged it at the end right there. Welcome, people of morals, to the Krown's crypto cave, where we have the highest... Oh, woman of morals. Sorry about that. I apologize. We need to be very gender specific here. Anyways, with that said, I would like to welcome you back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It is a beautiful and very glorious Thursday. Nice and rainy outside. Good for the old trees and plants of the world. And plenty to talk about on good old Bitcoin here, as we did get the short-term move to 46,000 bucks that we spoke about from yesterday. And then what was the key indication that we were looking for? Any sort of weakness, any sort of a quick rejection, which, by the way, happened right around the FOMC meeting, I do believe. And if we do get a lower high, then what is the next sort of prognosis for this piece of very heavenly esteemed and very highly esteemed asset? Well, we'll be talking about it soon enough, but you probably already fucking know. And if you did identify that, congratulations, you identified a bit of a short-term reversal, and that is actually rather powerful. So with that said, let's get into the Krown Chain application right now, which we found at app.krown.net. By the way, I did forget to wish you the best and the happiest, because why the fuck not, man? It is 100% free, and it also can maybe even helps, maybe can even help, or at least I hope it can help. Anyways, what do we see on the Krown Chain application, which is on the top end dashboard right now? We actually do see Bitcoin dominance rising a little bit from yesterday to today, about 0.5%. So we are seeing a bit of a rally right there, or a little bit up, or a little bit of an up right there. But as we did identify, I believe at the end of last week or middle of last week, we actually did initiate a daily downtrend. So I do suspect that this up is very likely going to be, I don't know about short-lived or medium-term lived, but more importantly, very likely does lead to another lower high. Anyways, on top of that, we do, which is actually making a lot of sense right now too, because there's some altcoins that are just going absolutely fucking ridiculous. Elliot actually messaged me this morning. He's like, hey, what do you think about Bitcoin, or what do you think about the market? I'm like, the market seems like it's bifurcated right now. It seems like Bitcoin's doing its own thing, and a few of the other majors as well. And then you got shit like Solana and company doing all sorts of lunar activity right now. Anyways, including Luna as well. Anyways, Fear and Greed Index also at a 73. So the market is still rather greedy, as Bitcoin is, you know, after having about a 60% rally off the $29,000 lows from a month or so ago. And what else can we find over here? Yeah, a lot of alts just having a fucking killer of a day, which again is a little bit concerning to me. Usually when you do see the alts start to rally while Bitcoin's going sideways, or in this case sideways and down. Oh, I see you, Mrs. Scott Barney. Oh, you got a new shitcoin to look at. Oh dear lord, straight up to $9. Oh boy. Anyways, we do see Voyager token going 60% in a day. What the fuck is this thing? What the hell even is this thing? You can see over here it does have the proverbial shitcoin charter, it looks like. Actually, no, I don't know how much history we have on this, so perhaps I do hold my breath on that one. But Terra, Avalanche, Cosmos, Arweave, Player, Audius, Phantom, and Solana all on the big winners list right there. That is actually insane. On the losers list, actually pretty damn muted for the most part, but a lot of the 2017 shitcoins, it looks like, right over there. Anyways, into the market data tab we go. We still do not see anything too concerning on global funding rates, so I do suspect that this pullback on Bitcoin very likely does align with a higher low on a higher term time frame. But for now, short term time frames are starting to tip off, and guess what? Open interest also turning down as well. So this is essentially profit taking, which is a better sign for the bulls right here. Essentially, you want your rallies to essentially be controlled by the bulls. And how does that happen? Well, if they drive it up, then how do they take profit? Well, they take their positions off, obviously. And then what we'd expect to see on a higher low is open interest go up alongside price action, also essentially digging its way out of there as well. Now, we're still very far away from that, obviously, but that is sort of the preparation that I'd be looking for maybe over the next week or two to come. On top of that, do we see anything else of interest? No, more or less the same things as far as the ICs. I would like to check out the whale ratio. Still around 0.5. I don't really have too much to say about that, but the hash rate did just take a massive dumpola right there, which is a little bit concerning. Maybe we even get a capitulation signal. If that happens, well... If that happens, then well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, or whatever the fuck the saying is. Anyways, into the price action charts we go, and let's follow up on yesterday's short-term analysis, right? Should we do this on CME? Should we do this on spot? It's all the same really right now, but more importantly, yesterday we were hanging out right around here now, weren't we? We said, hey, look, Bitcoin does have some drives of hidden bullish evidence. Actually, it was on CME that we did see this. Yeah, it was right here on CME. We said, hey, look, before anything else happens, probably going to see a move to 46,000 bucks. The key question is, does Bitcoin close any, even of the 4-hour time frame and above, the $46,000 pivot, because that could also turn up momentum on those timeframes as well and lead to targets a little bit higher to 47. No, we did not see that condition met. In fact, Bitcoin actually closed in a couple $100 below 46,000 bucks right here. Yeah, 45,800 on BitMEXCO. And then we said, hey, look, if you see a rejection within this region, guess what? We already have a lower low, as we did discuss coming into early yesterday, which was confirmed the day prior. And if we get a lower high, then we have a bit of a reversal. So there you go. Trend, very, very powerful. And I always keep on coming back to this. Like, you know, when I first started out with trading, the first thing I learned was trend, but I was like, oh, well, what the fuck? Trend, who cares? It's like, it's not sexy, you know? I want to use the indicators. I want to use all the, you know, all the rigmarole. I want to complicate things as much as possible. And now it's like I've come full circle, you know, more than 10 years after starting. And it's like, what's the most important thing? Trend. And it might even be the only thing. No, trend, volatility, and of course, momentum is kind of the way that I look at trading for the most part. Just three things can be covered by three different indicators. You don't even really need an indicator for trend, but moving averages do a decent job of getting that. Anyways, so we do have a bit of a short-term reversal right here. This is consistent up to, I believe, a 6-hour. Yes, indeed. Is it up to a 12-hour? A little bit less so. No, we don't necessarily have a lower low on the 12-hour just yet. But ultimately, I would be looking for Bitcoin to carry on with the short-term down a little bit more than what we're at right now. Somewhere around, at the very least, about 43,000 bucks, with potential to go lower. I do suspect that if we got this move over the weekend, by the way, anywhere around the 20 simple on CME, that would be kind of my obvious area, about 42,000 bucks, and that would still be a daily higher low, as you can see right here. You know, we pop up, fill the gap right here, rejection 1, rejection 2, down, down, down. Momentum also just turned down at the same time, and I would be looking again for a bounce somewhere around the 20 on the on CME specifically, and this being the simple moving average. Now, just as kind of an aside, typically when you are in an uptrend, and you can use this vice versa for a downtrend, you expect to see your bounces and higher lows being put in somewhere around the 20 or 21, whichever one you desire to use. Oh shit, I need to turn off the goddamn alerts right there. It is getting absolutely too ridiculous already. Although I do appreciate it, but I should, but I do need to turn that off right now. Anyways, where was I with that thought? Yes, so you do kind of expect to see your bounces and higher lows around that area. At most, the 55 in this case, which is a little bit lower than that, at currently crawling up at about 40,350 on CME as well. And a big focus, by the way, on CME. It's just been the more accurate chart. It's just been the more easy to read chart. And there's been a few kind of questionable signals that we've seen on spot price action. So I pretty much only focus on CME. Anyways, with that in mind, what else do we see on the shorter term time frame? So we see a little bit of a breakdown right here. Hey, we got an hourly death cross. It's going to the fucking floor now, isn't it? No, of course not. Or at least not based off that fucking signal. Jesus Christ, man. Again, for the grand scheme of things, we do see that Bitcoin obviously does have an exponential moving average golden cross right on over here between the green 55 and the purple 200. And of course, you know, there will be bounce along the way, very likely around that downside target, but I do expect that we probably will fulfill it. We did have 1, 2, 3 drives of bearish divergence off the highs right here. Your confirmation on an actual playable drive was that closure below the 200 simple right there, and you know, first target's going to be the 21, and then potentially a little bit lower on top of that. Now keep in mind, BBWP is incredibly low right here. We are actually down around about 6.75 percentile here. So if we do start to see expansion, which I don't think that we're going to see today or tomorrow, it is going to happen, which it will inevitably happen. I would probably be looking sometime around next week, if anything. Hopefully that does come alongside a print of a higher low. If that does happen, that's going to be really good for the Bitcoin BULAs here. And then also I want to discuss this as well. Where would be an invalidation point for all this stuff that we're talking about right now? Well, obviously, if Bitcoin did have a rejected high right around about 45,800, that means that if Bitcoin can't even just trade back above that level, it doesn't even really need to close above it for myself. But, you know, closure would be better, would induce a little bit more confidence on a trade as well. Then I would be saying that, hey, this, you know, this is a trap to the downside. This is a bear trap essentially. And then Bitcoin's going to pop back up to the current highs of this rally and then very likely carry on a rally, actually probably past 50,000 bucks to be fair. Now, I do want to bring this up as well. I haven't covered this in like a week now, but this would be the 5-day Gaussian channel, right? And we did close a 5-day dodo actually above the Gaussian channel right here, but we have not gotten an open and closure. And actually the next one, the one that we just closed last night at 8 p.m. Eastern time, did get rejected below. So typically within the sort of understanding of this, you know, we would be looking for a pullback just based off that. But again, and anywhere around the median band, or anywhere around there, which you could even say is goes as far as like $41,000 is fair game. I still do like the 5-day chart for what it's worth right here, but it should be known, if you really do want to get bearish, there are a few decent reasons to potentially get bearish. Not necessarily right now, but below about $38,000, which is our last daily high or low, which would also start to negate the Hasherman's indicator that we did look at and that I've been putting a lot of faith in and a lot of focus on for the past 3-4 months now. But, we're still well and far away from that. But as you have seen in the past, anytime that Bitcoin does have a nice long-term rally above the 5-day Gaussian channel and then comes down to test it for the first time, namely the median band, typically do get a nice bounce above it. And that bounce typically is rejected, like we see right here, And if we go to a more long-form history, we can see a couple more examples right here on this bounce. Boom, bounce off the median to the top and then down. And then same thing over here, although very, 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 very abruptly. So a much more expedited move right there. So that would be kind of the bearish view of this. I'm still not necessarily, in line with that. And more importantly, I actually forgot to bring this chart up right here. But what I want to talk about right now is the Hasherman's indicator, which is in my fundamentals chart. There we go. Anyways, yes. So remember when we spoke about the Hasherman's indicator, and again, I would suggest that you watch the long-term analysis video that I uploaded last week and in the long-term analysis playlist. It's actually the most recent one there, and it's freely available for your viewing at any moment in time, explaining my sort of case for Bitcoin, putting in a macro low right here. Anyways, we did get the blue buy signal right here, which does imply that the prior daily higher low was actually around 3rd of August, which was Bitcoin trading just above $38,000 on that concerted low. So again, as long as you're above there, that signal is still very much valid. And as we have seen in the past, 15 out of 16 historical signals have always marked the macro low before never, ever, ever closing a daily delta below there ever again. Now, with that said, on average, I've gone through all of those 16 iterations, and I have found that on average, Bitcoin typically tests around about 7% on average around that last daily low. Let's just play around with the numbers right here and see where that would start to land Bitcoin, as we can obviously measure that out. And if we were to take off 7% of price action, that would be about 41,500. And if we were to take about 10% off price action, where that put Bitcoin, that put Bitcoin at about 42,500 or so. Both sort of the areas that I would be looking for on a bit of a pullback if Bitcoin does want to do it from this current stature right here. So with that in mind, I do suspect that, it's probably going to scare the shit out of people, because for whatever reason, people or it's not people, it's probably just a few people realistically. But when I read on Twitter, when I read on the Discord, when I read on the comments here as well, sometimes, it's certainly not everyone, and especially in this community, I do feel like it's certainly the minority, which is actually a pretty damn good sign, and something that I think that everyone should probably be pretty damn proud of. But understand that, these moves are really not that great in the grand scheme of things. They're really not that big, especially over the last few days when people are like, why are we dumping? Why dump? When dump? What the fuck is this dump? Holy shit, Bitcoin just dumped. Am I going to be poor by the end of the week? What the fuck? I'm wrecked. Like, first off, risk management, sir. Second off, if it's a $1,000 or $2,000 move, which is pretty much all that we've seen within this region right here, get ready for when Bitcoin starts to make $10,000 moves, because it will happen inevitably, and probably even more than that. I mean, shit, like that's not that much for an asset that does trade $45,000 and is also known for its absolutely monstrous volatility. Like, holy shit, holy shit, essentially is what I'm trying to say. So with that in mind, we have our invalidation, or at least I have my invalidation points. Maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't. That's fair enough. Of course, this whole community is supposed to be looked at as colleagues rather than like, here's what you should do today. I mean, that's kind of disgusting and kind of weird and always bizarre. But anyways, okay, I'm going on a completely different run right there. My point is that if we do go off those extremes, if we do go off those averages, it does kind of line up with a lot of other things as well. And I do suspect that, at least as far as I look at things, I would be looking for a higher low first, because I always do trend first. And in this case, we do have an uptrend. We have a low, we have a high, we have a higher low, we have a higher high. Where's our higher low coming in around? Well, it could even be the 55 on the daily as well. That would be actually rather interesting. Now let's go over to our momentum charts. I actually forgot to do this at the very beginning of the stream, but we do see short-term momentum oscillators remaining with the downside pressure right here. I'm actually looking at CME right now, and I believe it's pretty much in line. Actually, no, it's not directly in line with what we see on spot. A little bit higher than that, actually. Again, I do default to CME when in doubt, but they are pretty much within the same region right here. For clarity, we do see the full hour on spot price action showing downside momentum as long as below 44.5. Now, again, this is, rather low right now within, generally a higher term time frame uptrend. So I don't think it has too much longer to spend down here, which is why I do think that any sort of a pullback is probably somewhat short-lived, if you will, unless if this truly is going to be the bull trap of death and decay. But if we scroll down all the lower term time frames, see if we see any sort of consistency here. On the 3 hour, we see 44.750, so actually a little bit higher than the 4 hour. That's actually usually not a good sign when you see a higher lower term time frame with higher resolution points than the higher time frame. We actually see the same thing on the buy hourly, 44.900, and the hourly is showing what downside momentum subsides continues as long as below 44.600 or so. Now keep in mind the 12 hour also coming down rather aggressively here too, and that is going to be consistent as long as below about 46.450 or just 46.500 or so. So as long as Bitcoin is closing the short-term time frames below, let's call it 44.5, and maybe we just use CME for this just because it's going to be more consistent in my experience, which is actually more like 45,000 bucks. So I'm going to stick with 45,000 bucks here. Again, when in doubt, I do default to CME. Just seems to get things more or less better. And in this case right here, if Bitcoin, as long as Bitcoin's below 45,000 bucks, I do look at this as very, 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 very likely to hit those downside targets. And if Bitcoin were to pop back up above 45,000 bucks, that would be the first warning signal. And then of course, the full-on confirmation that this is going to be a bear trap and very likely retest the highs of this run and probably even make a run to 50,000 bucks or plus would be above about 46,000 bucks. Take that information as you will. I can show my testnet account over here, of which it's actually doing pretty damn well still, 26.22 Bitcoin and working upwards and onwards. And these are all marks right here that should be even coming in more in my direction, printing 1.9 Bitcoin on these option contracts over here. As decay essentially comes in my direction. I'm basically short all of the super out of the money shit because, well, why the fuck not, man? I'm short the 24.17 and actually just the 24 and 17 put strikes now. I guess I pulled in the $20,000 strikes. Oh well, that's well, good. I'll retain some equity for that. Anyways, also shorted the $100,000, $200,000, and $80,000 call strikes. All of this is all premium. Again, expiring September, so I'm more than happy to do that. That is very easy to cover if it were to even creep up around there. I think that would be rather simple, but hey, weirder things have happened, of course. Anyways, also short the December $16,000 strike puts for premium here too, which is actually not even giving me all that much. Else is having a laugh tack. Also holding my $33,000 long because why wouldn't I at this point? Again, I'm playing off the macro structure and I will be using I'll be using options to cover these. Anyways, in fact, this might actually be a good time to do that right now. Let's just do a little bit of a covered call right here. Let's go to our options and let's see what we got going on. Maybe we don't do today's fucking expiration. Maybe we do this weekly, which is tomorrow. Hey, why did they fucking change this goddamn shit? That is so annoying. Oh, you bastard. Okay, where do I change the damn expiration here? Oh, come on. You bastards, you bastards, you bastards. Nope, we don't. Where's the fucking expiration? Oh, there we go. Thank the fucking Lord. Jesus Christ, man. Hiding everything in the way that it should not be done. And I'll sell these right here, actually, against my position. In fact, I will sell these for... Is there any... Sir, bring up the gut. There it is. Beautiful. Oh, and we got 10 right there. I just need to sell 5. So I will sell 5 and cover my positions right there. And, okay, price good. All right. Let's just hit that bid. Thank you, sir, very much. And we can go about our very merry day now that profits are protected on that for the next, I don't know, 24, 36 hours or whatever. Actually, more like 24 hours because it does expire at 11 a.m. Anyways, what else do we have over here? Okay, I do want to check out a few other things before we get into the comments. Okay, we went over momentum, we went over that. Okay, yes, so let's talk about this as well. I'm certainly not above admitting that I absolutely love what Dixie's doing right here. The reason why is because 1, I like my dollars, and 2, I got a lot of shit for being bullish on this, and well, I'll just let the results speak for themselves. That looks like a nice W bottom to me. That looks like a nice reversal, and it's certainly very, very bearish, as you probably know, to be popping back above your prior rejective highs from March. Isn't that weird? Anyways, what does this mean for Bitcoin? Because I'm sure that question is going to arise. Doesn't really mean too much in my opinion for Bitcoin. It means more for Forex forex traders. Yes, it does put a little bit of downside pressure on Bitcoin price action, presumably. But again, understand that Dixie is measuring the dollar versus other fiat currencies, which can have implications versus assets as well. I mean, there is going to be an interplay there, but of course, the direct relationship is going to be with a basket of other fiat currencies. So it is very funny to me. It is very silly to me when I, for whatever reason, like, the people get very emotional about this, or I shouldn't say peaceful. It's really just a few people who love to harass me on Twitter, which is a very interesting way to live your life. But hey, you're free to do whatever you want to do, man. It's free world as long as we don't turn into goddamn North Korea, or as long as you don't live in Australia or New Zealand. If you don't live there, it's a free world, and you're free to do whatever you want to do. I would, maybe you want to choose to use your day in perhaps more productive ways, but that's all good, man. Make fun of or give Krown a hard time on Twitter. That's good too. Anyways, oh yes, I forgot. Totally, holy fucking shit. Oh, by the way, a nice golden cross right there as well. I totally forgot. Totally forgot. Over here on our traditional markets, we did see a bit of a reversal here as well. Those conditions were met. This was basically after or basically right around the FOMC meeting. We rallied up into it, similar to Bitcoin actually, and then put in a lower high right here. So remember, yesterday, and I can't highlight this enough because you will run into this many times in your trading career, assuming that that is what you're doing. If you're just watching these for fun, hey, fair enough. I mean, it's probably important to know anyways. But when you see these sort of short-term etchings of reversals, that's the time to be protective. That's the time to be that's in my opinion the most relevant time to be switching around opinions. I always give the example of what I did in 2018, where I did not sell the ultimate high at $20,000. I'm by my own strategy. I'm going to be bullish around there just because, I mean, it's a fucking uptrend. But once Bitcoin put in the weekly lower high at $16,500, then yeah, I'm happy to get bearish on that. Sir, what are you going on over there? Okay, I don't know if that's true or not, but that is actually really fucking crazy if true. Crazy if true, but you can't really trust the internet sometimes. Anyways, we do see a bit of a reversal on this, yes, and I probably would be looking for a drive down around the 55, somewhere around 14,700 or so, maybe over the next week. This is actually showing a little bit of top-ish signals over the on the monthly now too, but it is still about 2 weeks left in the trading month to go, so it's not wise to like look at this exactly as operational just yet. But guess what, 14,600 is essentially a backfill on last month open, and the weekly probably does bounce here first before any sort of downside continuation. So I would be looking for a bounce first, and then very likely next week come a little bit further down. I think same thing on SPY as well. Yeah, SPY actually a little bit more toppy than NASDAQ in this current equation. The reason why I said that is because that one just had a more hefty sell-off. Short-term, I'd be looking for an extension down around 43.65 or so, very likely a short-term bounce there, and then probably continuation next week, somewhere around 43 even, and then I'd be looking for a higher low there just on first pass. Anyways, with that said, I think it's time that we can now get into the chatties. So let's pick it up over here. I'll put it on a short-term time frame for Bitcoin, and let's see. Okay, all right, let's see. Where are we at? God damn it, BK, motherfucker, BK, you've been here for a long time. You know better. God damn it, sir. Please entry for Sol USD. Hopefully, this is just a little bit of a troll comment. Okay, first off, there are so many goddamn things wrong with this comment. Again, I say this with respect, sir. First off, this is actually still a bullish chart for whatever it's worth. Yeah, I don't know if Elliot's listening to this right now, but yeah, man, like this market is actually maturing. We see completely different things on some altcoins than we do on Bitcoin and some of the other majors. Anyways, where was I going with that? Okay, so please, sir, where entry on Sol USD? It's like, first off, no fucking time frame given. Second off, I don't know what the fuck you're trying to do. I don't know if you're trying to hold this for the next 5 years, the next 5 minutes, the next 5 seconds, the next 5 days. I don't fucking know, man. I don't know your risk tolerance as well. How could I ever give you a good faith opinion on what a good entry would be for use particularly? I don't know based off of an incomplete sentence, not even one sentence, but an incomplete sentence, an incomplete string of words on a YouTube comment. As far as this thing goes though, man, I'd still be bullish on it. Again, as long as this thing's above $64 on the 4 hour, this is still all good in the hood. Daily is continuation. Weekly is continuation into next week. 5-day is also continuation. If this thing does pull back, I'd be looking anywhere around like 56 to $60, and that'd be fair game. Long term though, I'd still be looking for new all-time highs into probably late August, so over the next couple of weeks. If this thing does pull back though, $56 where I'd be looking towards, and very likely a higher low printed there. All right. Oh, there he is, Scott Barney. Okay, KXIN daily straight to $9. Oh boy, what is this going to bring up on my charts here? Well, maybe I shouldn't judge it before we get into it. Who knows? Oh, it's not an OTC piece of shit. It's actually trading on NASDAQ. Okay, that's good. Hey, and we have a bit of a breakout right there on the 4 hours, so not bad. But it's trading at $3.40. So when $9. Actually, this is pretty decent right here for the short term, and probably does trade up to $4, but you need more than a 2x to get up to $9 from there. It's ranging. Long term, it's an absolute dog shit piece of chart, but this one actually probably better than a lot of the other ones that you do suggest a lot of the time. So I would be looking for short-term continuation somewhere around $4, probably pull back there, and then maybe sets it up for a move towards $5. When $9, I don't think anytime soon, but this actually does show some decent signs here. When I don't think timing of those sorts of things can be done anyways, but at least I don't really, or at least I don't think that I could do it. More accurately said, but ultimately, man, yeah, I do think it's got some short-term upside here. I don't know about $9 though. Rosario Messetti says, "Ciao, sir. Hello, sir. You must be Italian. The language of love. The 18th of every month, the Fed committee releases minutes and SPY tests, 50 MAs every time for months now. It's called the FOMC, my friend." 433 magic number. Are you talking about SPY futures right here? Yeah, I do think, yeah, that's actually yes, you pretty much nailed it. But I don't think that is, well, no, that is a weekly 10 simple. I don't know if that happens this week. Maybe Friday, but probably early next week we see something like that. And I would be looking for a bounce there at least on the first pass. And would that be another daily high or low? It would, as is this one, 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 as is this one. Pretty much going all the way back to October 2020, but pretty damn consistent right there. At some point, yes, the trend will be broken, but the trend is your friend until the end of the trend. And right now, the trend is still actionable and viable. I do look at it. So yeah, I would agree. Bots for the win 55 says, "Thanks, bro. I'm going to eat trend and cleanse." Eat trend and cleanse hard. Oh, chest bra. Oh, chest bra. You're such an inspiration, bro. Thank you for the continued inspiration. I've been following your Instagram, and while some of it is very questionable, I really do appreciate you as a person, sir. You're fucking great, man. You really need to check out his Instagram though. He is it is the most interesting thing of all time that usually men, it's kind of like a thing, especially in I think Australian culture, that like people, men are typically like kind of, at least from what I understand, tell me if you agree with this, tell me if you don't agree with this, because I'm just stupid American. I don't actually know these things, but from what I gather, Australian male culture is typically a little bit more on the homophobic side, not very comfortable with expressing their their feminine side, I do suppose. But chest bra seems to bring that out of everyone, where everyone's like, "Bro, you are the Mog God. You are amazing. You got the body of a fucking god, bro. I love you, bro." It's like, what the fuck? It's like, that's great, but oh, that's great. More power to them. Whatever the fuck. Whatever gets you hard in the morning, sir. Everyone should do that, yeah. Says Elsa. Leet Slip says, "Can you please check out BBIG timeframe to October and January?" Why that? Man, you're either a boomer who's used to stock charts, because this is how we used to do on stock charts. We do like timeframes for like times of the year. But I don't really see. I honestly do not see the relevancy in doing something like that, to be honest with you. Anyways, you're looking at time frame to October and January. So why would we be looking when, first off? Are you talking about this year or this? I don't know what years you're talking about for one. Talking about October maybe 2020 to January 2021. I mean, I'm looking at it. I don't know what you want me to look at. I don't know what you're essentially going off of. It does look like you're maybe within the midst of a reversal right here, as this one is still operating on a higher lows. But I don't exactly. I mean, this looks like shit on a weekly though. Jesus Christ. I do not think that's going to work out as a higher low. This looks like it wants to come back down to Goblin Town at like 170, 160 over the next like half year. But I don't really know what you want me to look at here. I'm not exactly sure what you're trying to focus on. I don't really even know what years you're also focusing on here as well. So hopefully we can get some more color on that, and then maybe we can come back to it. Anyways, okay, cool. BK is back, sir. CSPR USD on Huobi for our daily weekly. Okay, CR. What the fuck? How do you spell? CSPR. Okay, there we go. Wait, got it wrong. All right. Well, it was one of those. It was the only one that I didn't try. Huobi. All right. So we have a shitcoin that's been alive for less than 4 months. So this is going to be useful. It's been only in a downtrend ever since it's ever been born. So that's also a really great sign as well. Full hour does look a little bit like it wants to pop back up to maybe 13 cents or so. Let's see, daily. Not getting much from the daily. I would be bearish on this thing as long as you're below 16 cents long term. Weekly, there's not anything to really be looking at here on a weekly just yet. So I have to say, you know, I know that that's not very helpful, man, but short term a little bit of upside, but as long as you're below, what was it, 16 cents, I'd be bearish on this one. But hey, you know, maybe this is your first higher low after a bit of a reversal. Could be. Could be, yeah. I mean, it could be, but we'd expect it to bounce here and then basically hold 16 cents over the next couple weeks or so. Okay, cool. Scott Barney says using fake money is like using a dildo when you got PP. Well, thank you for that very high quality comment, Scott Barney. What if you're a lesbian? Says Elsa. That's actually a good question. J3F says Ray USD 4 hour. I mean, if you can't figure out the fucking testnet account, man, then Scott. This is all with love, my friend. J3F, Ray USD 4 hour daily weekly. Let's check it out. What is this thingy? Radium. Sounds like it belongs on the periodic table of elements. And pretty good rally here on the daily. This thing is like not even bothered with popping back down and putting a higher low just yet. I think that this one probably has one more drive of continuation before that. Anywhere between about 912 and about 965, 970 or so. It's getting rather hot here. You know, daily RSI is getting pretty fucking up there, so it still does not have bearish divergence on this. Yes, you do have a change of behavior over here. Things do look more or less good, but momentum oscillators are very, very extended right now. Price action is also rather extended, so I'd probably be looking for maybe one more pop in this asset, and then very likely a pullback, probably somewhere around, you know, 5.5, maybe 580 or so if things are like really fucking bullish on this one. This is actually pretty good here. This is actually pretty damn good. Anyways, what time frames do you want me to look at? 4 hour daily, weekly. Okay, we got that and that. Weekly's not giving me too much. It's a little bit too young to really be looking at a weekly and make much of it. Only going back to February of this year. Like, we really need years if we're going to look at a weekly. I mean, this thing's barely even populating a 21 right here. So it's unfortunately not as relevant. But short term, yes, I suspect that this one does have one more drive, then very likely puts in a top, then comes back down, puts in a higher low. And then we'll see where the market is. Mr. Screamer, there he is. Hi, Krown. Best of the best to you as well, sir. I understand metals are more prone to fundamentals, but how much weight would you put on this silver daily death cross? I mean. Okay, so I'm guessing you want to look at spot silver. Let's check this one out. How much weight would I put on the daily dildo death cross? I mean, it's not good here, obviously, but this is not the best example of a death cross. Price action is very far away from it. So I suspect that this one probably doesn't give you like the major massive move, although I do suspect that it will take you down somewhere around about 2080, you know, a little bit below $21, but let's see where that would put things on the monthly. Yeah, I also don't think that this happens this month, probably in September if it is going to happen. But yes, somewhere around about 20.5 to 21 bucks. And I would be looking for a bounce somewhere right around there. How much weight would I put on the death cross itself? Not much. It's not a great example of one. And this will actually be a bit of a bear trap if you do pop back above 24 bucks. But as you know, this one is, you know, these ones are a bit more fundamentally driven, and there's a lot of games played in these. And I prefer not to play the fucking rocks at all, like gold, silver, all that bullshit. I want nothing to do with. Although I did trade gold's ETF back in the day, like called GLD, but that's also because you can trade options against it, which make it, you know, a lot more manageable. Buried Alive, what's up, man? Good morning, sir. Can you please check out MBX coin on the 4 hour daily? Sure. Let's see it. MBX. Oh, okay. I'm guessing this is a crypto. Oh no, it's an MBX coin. Wait, did I do that right? MBX coin. I'm guessing you're talking about this. I don't know exactly what you're talking about because I suspect that you're talking about a crypto, but nothing's coming out right there. I would be looking for this one to come down somewhere around the 200, about 55 cents or so. See what the long term looks like. Long term's not bad. Long term's not that bad, or at least so far. It's not too impressive long term, but it ain't bad. So I would suspect that it probably does try for a higher low somewhere right around, or not necessarily a higher low, but it does try for a bounce there, and then continues on with a long term rally. But I don't think it's necessarily like bad right now. if anything, the weekly says bounce right here before another downside test, but daily very clearly says downside for right now. And short-term timeframes, this is unhelpful in the 4 hour. You can see that this thing does not really trade that much. I mean, you can see like 4 hour stints where it trades 1,000 shares, which is absolutely fucking nothing. So again, I don't know if you're talking about this one, but if you are talking about this one, a little bit of short-term down, but long-term still fine, more or less. I don't know what time frame you're going on with that one. Oh, no, you're going on with the 4 hours. So yeah, short-term down. That makes it a lot easier, actually. Christina P. Hello, sir. Ma'am. It's a lady. Everyone acts cool. There is a female in the midst, and is she of high moral standard? We must ask. XDC, daily 4 hour, please. Sure. XDC, I'm guessing this is a crypto. It is. XFin Network. This one probably had a decent day now, didn't it? Because it was on the winners list today. Maybe we go to the other exchange, Finex. I just want to see if there's more history here. There is. Oh yeah, okay. You know what? Let's record this one. It's actually one of the because it's had such a big day. Like, why the fuck not? Let me just double check that this is the actual one that we were speaking about earlier. XTC. So that's XFin Network. Yeah, I had a pretty damn good day. All right, you know what? Let's record this one. You're looking at a 4 hour daily. Alrighty. Quick little analysis here on XDC versus US dollar, this being XFin Network, requested by Christina P., a woman of very high moral virtue. Anyways, we're looking at a 4 hour daily, and let's see what we got going on right now. This one actually stands out quite a fair bit just because daily is in an uptrend and actually breaking out to, I suspect, new all-time highs. In fact, it is. So it is in price discovery. We had a lovely ascending triangle right here, going all the way back to April, or I guess I've already done this one, April 2021. Being resolved as of last week, and that does have a measure move short term to about 1875, 19 cents or so, which we can start to pull some Fibonacci extensions right here. That's actually going to be this one spot 414. So I would be looking for a pullback around that level, probably down to about 14 and a half, maybe 15 cents or so. But after that, this is a macro breakout, and blue sky breakouts like this typically do get, and this is like just a perfect example one too, typically do get follow through on top of that. And I would be looking more long term, not this week, not next week, but maybe later this year, somewhere around about 35, maybe 40 cents before the next like major pullback on this one. But daily looking very, very good. Again, very constructive breakout. Nothing really to be bearish about here as long as above 1260 or so. Of course, below 1260, I would be looking for greater pullbacks. But for right now, this chart is just a monstrosity. Jesus Christ, what time frame was I charting that on with all those damn trend lines? 4 hour in an uptrend as long as you're above about 1375 or so. So looking good at, right there as well. Now, if you do start to lose that level, I would look for a short-term move down to 13 cents. And then, of course, the daily level still apply. But for now, this is, you know, more or less fine. And I would be looking for this one to continue the slow trudge upwards after this very beautiful breakout, actually. Volume signature also supportive of that. And daily RSI also maintaining the bullish control zone and looking a little bit sloppy, but overall healthy there, with daily BBWP coming a little bit down. So that does suggest that we are within the midst of a short term, a very, very short term, that is, consolidation, which can be seen on the 4 hour. And again, I'd be looking for a resolution on that after a little bit more sideways, perhaps to the upside in this case. This one looking actually very, very good. One of the better altcoin charts that we've certainly seen today. In fact, I'd go as far as saying it's probably the best altcoin chart that we've seen today, although it's rather early in the stream today. Hope that one helps, and see you in the next one. Nice. All right, cool. There we go. Get some more round robin on this. Yeah, I was recording that. Jesus Christ, could you not laugh like a goddamn bird, D? Anyways, Robert Johnson, Tesla on medium to long-term timeframes, please, sir. Sure. Don't say stuff like that. Sir, it's not a big deal. You don't have to like fucking hold your breath for that. You don't need to. It's not a big deal. Like, seriously, Jesus Christ. If someone's gonna get mad at that, like, they can maybe just not watch the videos in the future and save themselves from laughter, I guess. Tesla, okay, having a nice little bounce off of, I imagine. Oh, we didn't get all the way down to our horizontal right there. How close did we get? Yeah, not that close. Okay, so we did fill the upside gap first. I believe that's what we did say yesterday. However, that didn't just get filled. That got absolutely busted through. Do I look for more continuation on this move first? Probably yes. I mean, hidden bullish evidence on the 4 hour. Next target to the upside would be about 715 to 716. That is. So that would be your medium term. Long term, you know, do you talk about a daily, weekly on this one? Long term, I still think that you're just going sideways here. I don't like long term. I do expect that it's good, but I don't think that you have anything to be super excited about as long as you're below basically last week's high, which is 730. Above there, I would look for a nice breakout back around about $800, maybe more, and maybe even gets follow through on top of that. But for the most part, just trading sideways here for a while, and then maybe later this year, early next year, or something like that, it gives an actual try. Monthly, however, is pretty damn good. So maybe I do hold my breath on that. Perhaps let's check out the quarterly, which would judge like end of year targets in this case. Yeah, I mean, quarterly is okay right here too. So no major issues with this just yet. But long term, still good. Short term, a little bit of sideways and up, but I wouldn't necessarily like call that like a massive move. Oh, we got Mr. Nimbo. There he is. I see Nimbo and actually Caretaker today. What's up, my fellow moddies here? Awesome. Sir, can we please take a look at SLR on ASX for Davo? His rent is due next week. Should he start begging now? All right, let's see. SLR. What is this? Solaria Energy on AS. Or no, it's Silver Lake. Ooh, ma'am. Well, quarterly looks like shit, but you're talking about next week. So let's look at the weekly. You might get a short-term bounce here to like 148, but this is pretty shitty. Pretty bad. Yeah, I think you probably do bounce off this level somewhere around about 145 to 148 region first. But this thing is heavily bearish as long as you're below. I mean, that monthly lower high right there is fucking nasty, man. And you're already printing lower lows on this monthly too. I mean, taking out the last week low is like not a sign of strength. So yes, it's very likely to bounce here. Long term, I do think it will come lower, but it doesn't sound like you're angled towards long term. So yeah, I'd probably be looking for a bounce here first to that level. I don't know if that's going to pay your rent or not, but hopefully that is in some way helpful. Man, rent's a bitch, isn't it, sir? Manuel Espinoza Pla says, "Hi, sir. Hello, sir. No problem, man. I'm just sharing experience, man, for better or worse. Can you tell me your opinion on US 2000 USD? Okay, this is like the top US 2000." Okay, all right. It's a Russell 2000. Okay, gotcha. Short term down. I'd be looking for this one to test down around about 2120 or so, 2125 region. Can we see a big down in traditional markets? Short term, I do think down, but make no mistake about it. Well, this one is actually a downtrend right here. This one probably does come long term down to about 2050 or so. Probably will bounce there, but is it in danger very long term? Yeah, actually, I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing maybe like, early next year make a move down to about 1900 or so. Yeah, it's, there's going to be a bounce along the way, obviously. I suspect that you're probably going to have another one around about 2120 or so, but yeah, I do think that you actually have, a decent setup here for a long-term downside move. But that's going to take, probably 3 to 4 months in my opinion. You see BBWP starting to expand on the daily right here, and that's basically on a confirmation of downtrend with that lower high and now retesting your lows. Not a good thing. Yeah, take that as you will, man. Not good. Anyways, J3F says Abe USD. We can look at this one. Maybe we even record this one as well. Hey, you hear that, you laughing bird? We're gonna maybe record this one. Maybe we don't. This one's kind of a seriously. Can you not listen to comments like that? It's like who cares if someone gets mad at you laughing like this? Ridiculous. Jesus Christ. You need a more difficult life. You need to go check out North Korea. It's very awful there. Your life is too easy if you get pissed off about someone laughing. Jesus Christ. Anyways, what are we looking at right here? I do not know. Let's see, what is a 5-day looking like? Okay, what is daily looking like? What is a 4-hour looking like? Hey, starting to have a similar setup to Bitcoin as well. Starting to have a similar setup to Bitcoin here. All right. I'm not going to record this one because I'm actually not too confident on this one. Short term, it actually does look like I might be putting in a bit of a local low right here. Here's the thing though. You do have a reversal. You do have a lower high. And the only way that I really call this a bear trap, similar to Bitcoin above 45.8 with a warning signal above $45,000, would be with a move 4-hour back above about 30. Just to tick above your 398 high, or a 2-hour closure above 390. If that were to happen, this is gonna be bear trap. You'll see a move back up to the top side of the range, like 440 or so. In long term, you'll probably just see with this macro rally continue. However, I do suspect that this one, does play alongside Bitcoin, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a move as long as that condition is not met, somewhere down around about 350, maybe even as much as about 335, 340ish region, anywhere in this pocket right here. But that's still a daily uptrend. So make no mistake about it. Like long term, this is good. Or relatively good compared to a lot of things within this market, but yeah, I even like the monthly as well. I don't have any major issues with this. This one's fine long term. Short term though, do we play at a little bit of downside? It's not really wise to be bearish on a signature like this, to be fair. So maybe this does turn into a bear trap. If that happens, probably Bitcoin gets a bit of a bear trap there too, but Bitcoin is just a lot more obvious on this one. So I'd still be waiting for that confirmation here. Better to stay safe. However, do we have? No, we do not have. Okay, apologies on that. That was a false alarm right there. Kyle Winnan says, Baba, please, sir. Daily, weekly. Sure. Looking like it's about to bottom. I don't know. I remember we looked at this one yesterday, but we looked at the Chinese listing version, and it was retesting its macro low, and it probably bounces there. Yeah, this is a different chart. Do I think it's going to bottom here? No, I think it's probably going to bounce relatively soon. Where's that bounce? Well, first off, maybe one more continuation drive to like 170 or so. Very likely a bounce there, but this thing's pretty fucking wrecked, man. I don't think it's going to put in a macro low here, if that's what you're asking. I think at best it bounces. At best it bounces back up to like 190 or 200, and then probably continues on with a long-term down to about 136, 140-ish region. I do not like this chart. This one actually looks pretty damn obviously toppy. This is like a fresh breakdown, if anything. I mean, you'd be basically buying the fucking breakdown right here, in my opinion. Of course, again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but yeah, that's all I can. That's the best I can do for that one, man. Not the picture of health and fitness on this chart, sir. Okay, cool. Gemini athlete. I mean, again, it depends what time frame you're looking at, but you did say daily, weekly. Yeah, daily, weekly, both shitty. So just short-term bounces, not a reversal. And if you're talking about like an actual bottom, that is. Okay, cool. Elsa would like to send a very heartfelt thank you for liking her laugh, and it actually really does help, Thank you for that. And to all the people out there who really have an issue with it, well, okay, whatever. Jesus Christ, man. Gemini Athlete MMA says Chainlink on the weekly downside price target to re-enter. Again, how the fuck am I going to... Well, I got to be very, very directly clear with this. Like, whenever someone asks me like a literal question of like, do my fucking trades, it makes me feel very bizarre. I can give you an opinion on this, but I'm not gonna like do your goddamn trades. Again, I don't know what's best for you. I don't know your trading personality based off of a single sentence on a YouTube comment, man. And also the reason why I tell you that, man, isn't because like I'm trying to fucking shit on you. It's because you're probably also going to ask someone else, and they will give you an opinion, and it's like until they actually know you, or maybe even are you, better said, there's no way that they can know better than you yourself, sir. You have to trust yourself. Anyways, this thing, as far as what even time frames are you looking at? Oh, at least you gave it time frames, so that's good. Wouldn't mind a move down to about 2340 or so, but is that like a weekly pivot right here? Actually, kind of yes. Would be backfilling last weekly open. I'm less inclined by this chart than a lot of the other more powerful altcoin charts. Here's actually the thing. If I were playing this myself, I actually wouldn't mind playing a position right here, just using the 21 as a management point, because if you actually do reverse from this region, which this one's actually holding up relatively well in the short term, you will have hidden bullish divergence of 3 drive variety, and that will imply targets back up pretty much on the highs of this rally, like $30, and then probably even another continuation drive. By the same token, very easy to manage it, and if you do lose it, I'll be looking somewhere down around about 22, 23 or so. If this thing tops out right here, though, this is... you're probably going to get bounced around there, but I don't think you're going to bottom there, to be honest with you. I think this thing would probably come down below $20. I don't feel too confident on this chart, man. You don't want my opinion on this chart. I do not feel confident on this chart, and I want to shoot you straight, man. I think probably best to watch Bitcoin for direction. Bitcoin's a little bit more obvious right now. Look, if Bitcoin pops back up above 45.8 it was, then this is going to be a bear trap, and we will see Bitcoin go for a little bit of a ripola, and I imagine most altcoins as well. But if Bitcoin falls a little bit further south, then probably looking at like 22, 23 for that thing. K, Mr. Simple K says, hello, mate. Hello, sir. Can you check out EGLD Elrond? Sure. Man, this one's been getting a lot of love recently. I'm curious, what is it? It doesn't, well, it actually has a decent chart long term. It ain't a bad chart long term, so fair enough. Yeah, daily over here still fine. Any majors with this? This is actually pretty good. For what it's worth. Short term though, does it play a little bit of downside? Probably yes. Probably coming back down to about 125, 126 region. Would be looking for a bounce there. And then, well, we'll see what Bitcoin does up to that. You know, as always, when it comes to altcoin analysis, you have to put it in the context of like what Bitcoin's doing as well. But for right now, higher term time frames are very good. So again, this one's kind of in a weird spot. Let's see where the 5-day closed. 5 days already had a backfill. So any further south, we probably do come down even harder. I'm not so sure on this one either, man. The higher term time frame is actually showing a pretty damn good picture right here, and that would imply that I should not get too bearish on the short term time frame. So maybe I adjust that short term target down to around 137.5. Look for a bounce there. If you see a good bounce there resembling a higher low, that's going to look really, really good for the daily, getting continuation all the way up to 165. Maybe even as much as like 170, 175 region. This is actually decent. And long term, this one's completely fine long term as long as you're above yesterday's low, which is what, 128 and 38 cents or so, pretty far away from current price action. So if you are managing there, you're kind of fucked. But I mean, from a major moving average perspective, this one's pretty damn good. Daily RSI going to have some bearish divergence right there. If it does put in a little bit of a high right here, but this is not a high right now. I have to go with the daily trend in this case. This one actually holding up relatively well. So if Bitcoin does reverse here, I'd expect that thing to actually be a big beneficiary in comparison to most things within this market. Leet Slip says, I was hoping that BBIG may go back to $5 by October 2021 to January 2022. Yes, it looks bad. Thank you, sir. We can go back. Okay, so now that I understand what you're saying, I thought like you wanted me to look at that exact area as far as time goes. No, that this is very fucking bad here. $5? So that's like a 2x in the stock market. I mean, look, man, it's about to get 1, 2, 3 drives of hidden bearish divergence on this high right here. Actually, that is technically a higher high. So that would not count. So I apologize. That actually will not work out that way, but still not very good, no matter which way you cut it. Maybe let's go to a bi-monthly. Maybe let's find some hopium maybe for the man. We find any hopium, please. Hopium. When hopium? Here's the hopium. If this thing does bounce off of about 240, basically where it's at right now, you will have still a weekly higher low and can play the trend right there. I don't know about it going all the way back up to $5 by end of year. Possible, I suppose, but it would literally need to bounce like right around here. The second that it comes down below 205, that last weekly low, is a second that I'd be looking for this whole rally to just be completely coughed up all the way down to like 150, 160 region, maybe even lower. So that'd be the hopium for that one. It's definitely possible still. You know, I always am respectful of higher term time frame uptrends, but just, you know, understand what your risk is. So yeah, hopefully that is helpful, sir. Nibble says, Elsa, Krown thoughts on Vitalik becoming the new lead developer for Doggy? Really? Is he? Will we see $1 soon? Let's just go look at Doggy Derp. Where great cryptocurrencies. It ain't bad actually right there. Oh my fucking god, man, I can't believe I'm saying that. It's holding up much better than Bitcoin here too. You know, you got a clear invalidation point below 28.5 cent. And the second that this thing goes above 31.80, this thing's gonna rally back up to 35 or so and continue on with the daily rally, probably even to like 38, maybe even 40 cents. What the fuck is this market, man? What the fuck is this market, sirs and zers? Doggy coin holding up better than Bitcoin. It's like all the shit coins are getting their day in the sun right now. 12 hours fine. Maybe a short-term test down at 28.75 or so, but take that as you will, man. Take that as you will. Kendrick DeCamp says, and we are still here. Morpheus from the Matrix, my fucking man. The Dominicans are back with you, Elsa, Mods, and even Scott. Even Scott is getting the love from Mr. Kendrick. Whoop, 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 says Elsa. She's never said that before in her life. OGN USD medium term. Okay, let's check it out. Why does this one? This one sounds familiar to me, but nothing's ringing a bell in my mind. Okay, so an altcoin that does not have a perennial down chart. That's good. It's always a good start. Medium term. Okay, so we should not be looking at a weekly, maybe a 12-hour or daily. Yeah, not holding up the best though short term compared to most things within this market, but a very easy place to kind of be managing this one off of. Look, here's your last 12-hour higher low. It's right in line with the 200x benchmark average right there. That also means that you potentially have a golden cross on the way if it does essentially hold this region. So this is actually a really good setup. It's actually a really fucking good setup. So as long as this thing essentially just, well, it's not going to go above 129 today, or at least very unlikely to do that. But the longer that it holds sideways here, the more and more that these two moving averages will naturally draw closer to each other. And if you do get that golden cross after a nice consolidation right here, that's going to look really, really good for a continuation of this run back to the prior highs of it, and then probably go for a run up to like 160 more long term, which it doesn't sound like you're angled towards. But by contrast, I mean, the second that you do start to check out this area right here, 90 cents that is, I believe. Let's see if it lines up with a 4-hour as well. Yeah, it does. And the 4-hour doesn't look as confidence inducing, to be fair. But the second that it would do that, then I would be looking for a continuation move down somewhere around like 84, maybe as much as 80 cents, somewhere around there, and try for a bounce there. But again, easier to watch Bitcoin in this scenario, but you have a very easy setup here as well. This one is a bit more downside angle from a momentum oscillator perspective. Daily RSI rejected very harshly from bullish control zone, and daily Jewel is, it's a pullback. This is not a downside signal, or not one that I'd look at as playable, at least for myself. But best case scenario is this thing goes sideways for like a few more days and then pulls them together and then actually goes for a bit of a run. That would actually look really, really good. So hopefully that was helpful, sir. Yeah, you want 150. Yeah, I mean, if it does put in a low here, that actually would be my target. Yes. Yeah, it would. I mean, it ain't bad. And it sounds like you entered at 85 cents. So yeah, your risk is pretty minimal right there. I mean, you can even technically manage potentially with a profit there too, which would be nice. It's kind of like the ideal situation, right? Anyways, BK says, sir, SRM USD 4-hour daily weekly. Okay, SRM. What is this? SRM USD. Oh, okay. Oh, Serum. I've heard this name before. Wow, powerful alt again. Should we record this one? Yeah, let's record this one. All right. Here we have Mr. Serum. No, we have Serum from Mr. BK, requested by. Oh, God damn it. Let's try this again. My bad. Quick little analysis on SRM Serum versus US dollar. This one being requested by Mr. BK, our highly esteemed member here. He's asking for the 4-hour daily and weekly as I read his comment there, and looking pretty good, actually. This one definitely stands out as one of the better charts that we've seen today. Certainly, I would be looking for a general continuation to about 957, 960-ish region before the next daily pullback. Daily just got a golden cross right here, and we do have a nice higher low right around about 613. This run looks pretty damn good. It is getting rather mature, but I wouldn't necessarily be calling highs on this one until you see BBWP get a little bit higher. I want to see it get above 95 percentile at the very least, preferably to 100 percentile, and at that point, I'd imagine we're probably somewhere around there, and then do pull back, and I'd be looking for essentially just a higher low on that pullback. Short-term timeframes like the 4 hours, just continuation, looking very, very good. Hidden bullish divergence off the last breakout to new highs on this run, and still 4-hour RSI working its way through the bullish control zone. It probably will put in some bearish divergence here, but still that would imply that we do continue a little bit further, and this is not even putting a short-term high just yet. Weekly is just continuation. Again, I'd be looking somewhere around about 980, maybe even gets a spike up to $10, but this is actually one of the better altcoin charts we've seen today. Here's what it looks like on momentum charts as well, just to see where where things do turn around, if they do. Below $8, 4-hour Stokes will turn down. Daily says below 833 on a closure. Daily Stokes will turn down as well. And weekly actually remains up. So long term still good. Short term, I'd look for a little bit of turbulence below those levels. But for right now, man, this is actually one of the better altcoin charts we've certainly seen today. So nice one, and good shit. Cool. All right. Raghu Chandra Kumar says daily and weekly on LYXC. KuCoin, sir. Okay. This one's been getting popular, I feel like, too. I see its name pop up rather often. But this one getting a bit of a rejection right now on the weekly, it looks like. So we really do see a bifurcated market here, but no. When I go down to the daily, this is not a rejection. This is fine. This thing's fucking fine. Golden cross right here. Consolidate above all major moving averages. 21 supporting. I'm not bearish on this thing at all as long as below 1120 or so. If it does drop below 1120, I would look for a bit of a retracement down to 1010, but I don't think that's what's happening right here. Long term, I suspect that this rally does continue up to about 1860 or so, but again, know your risk. because this one's actually pretty damn easy to manage as well. And actually the daily is getting some downside signals here, to be fair. So if it does want to dump out, just around $10 is where I'd be looking towards. But, still long term, one of the better shots that we've seen, definitely. Okay, cool. Lance. There he is. Lance. Scott Barney. Oh, he's back. Bitfarms, new all-time high last week. Trend keeps going. Probably. That's usually what happens. Let's see. I remember when you were looking at this one. Scott, do you have insider information? Because you were looking at this one when it was OTC before it went public. Made new all-time highs last week. Does it continue? Long term it probably continues, but this thing is actually showing a bit of bearish divergence. 1, 2, 3 drives actually right here. So I'd probably be looking for a further pullback into next week first, somewhere down around $5 or 450. 450 to $5 is where I'd be looking towards. Short term, I'm not really getting much from this. Kind of a hard chart to get on the short term, to be honest with you. Short term, I actually do think gets another run at the lows, like 540 or so, and tries for a bounce there. I would switch around to medium term bullish if this thing does pop back above this last little rejective high, $6 to essentially the prior highs on this run, and very likely makes new all-time highs. Long term, it's fine. The question is, does it pull back first coming into early next week, or do we see a what's it called? Or do we just see this bounce actually happen from this region and put in a bit of a bear trap as well? So we do see some instances, and we do see some altcoins that really do make me consider that Bitcoin could put in a bear trap right here. But again, the criteria for that is very, 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 very easily definable. So until that's met, I'd still be going with the short-term trend, even though I don't think it has like comparatively that much lower to go. And especially if this happened over the weekend, that would be a pretty obvious signal in my experience, in my opinion. Rebeldia says, "Hi Krown, hello sir. Thank you for the Adonis compliment. Yeah man, dude, you're fucking jacked. Your men's physique IFBB Pro. What the fuck? Holy shit, dude, that's actually crazy, man. There's another guy who I think connected with me on Instagram." And he apparently watches the show too, and he's like an actual IFBB pro, like a bodybuilding pro too. I mean, that's crazy. That's super awesome, man. Really, I have a lot of respect for those people. It's not fucking easy. I know that people like to say it's just steroids. No, it's fucking not. Most people take steroids. Look like they don't even look like they take steroids, man. It's kind of crazy. Anyways, EGLD on the weekly, please. Sure, man. Sure. Let's check it out. I need to also catch some tips from you too, man. I'll trade you tips, sir. It's a good trade. Anyways, weekly. I'm not getting much from this weekly chart. Maybe 5 days is going to be a little more obvious. Yeah, I believe we looked at this one earlier today. I was kind of stumped on it, man. Daily's fine. I'm not going to be bearish on this thing as long as it's below yesterday's low, which is 128.38. It's, as always, it's easier to watch Bitcoin. And if this thing does come below yesterday's daily low, I would look for a continuation down to about 110. I don't think that's what's happening here, but that's what I would be looking for if that condition was met. Until then, I'd just be looking for sideways and up. Let's see what the lower term timeframes look like. Short term, probably down to like 137, but you're probably not concerned with that. By contrast, if it does take out not yesterday's high, but the 17th of August high, I'd be looking for this one to go on for a nice tear, maybe like early September to 180 or so. Basically, what I'm trying to say is sideways here is bullish, but easy to watch Bitcoin for a direction on this one because I'm getting conflicting signals. And when I get that, it's usually my signal to myself that my analysis is not going to be too helpful or too accurate. So in this case, I kind of have to say that. But you do have some pretty obvious continuation points for both the upside and the downside. I'd be leaning towards the upside just based off a trend right here. But I'm curious to see what this one would do if Bitcoin actually does dump, a couple $1,000 or so. Because so far, it's actually held up very, very well, relatively speaking, which is a very good sign. So I'm inclined to say that this one is going to benefit actually quite a fair bit if Bitcoin were to choose the upside route, which long term I believe that it will. So you probably are looking at like 180 to maybe even $200. Hopefully that was helpful, sir. Shorty Shrew says TTCF daily weekly. Sure, man. Wait, what was it? TTCF. Okay, TTCF. There we go. Tattooed chef. Cool. Interesting one here. And you're looking at a what? You're looking at a daily weekly. All right. Weekly is in a distributed pattern right here. I don't think it's going to break down like this week, so to speak, but you do have one of my favorite patterns actually. Well, you no longer have that. Yeah, that idea goes by the wayside. You got the other one, the one that you probably don't want. You got this one, man. You got this one right here. Yeah, an old descending triangle. So it's probably going to bounce at this level and spend some more time within this distributive formation here, but as long as you're below basically last week's high, which is 2188, I'd be looking at any sort of lower high, especially below about 1950 as very likely the next major lower high. Actually, you just got hit in bearish evidence on last week close too. I don't think this thing's mature enough to break down just yet, but I do suspect that it will break down over time. Yeah, short term probably bounce off this region here. Wouldn't be surprised to see it work its way back up towards like maybe even 18.5, $19. This one's going to take some time, man. Like long term, you're probably looking at maybe like September or late September, sometime maybe around October when this thing actually does go for the downside move. But for right now, range bound, but long term looks like wants to choose the downside there. ACU5 says, Krown, do you have an opinion on Peter Thiel buying gold and saying he is preparing for a Black Swan event? You're talking about Palantir? I heard that Palantir did that. Is Peter Thiel involved with that? I'm not really like well read when it comes to like investors, which I believe that he is. So here's the thing. Okay. It's always very difficult to trust I believe he's an asset manager, correct? Asset manager, that is. Correct me if I'm wrong. But when asset managers talk their book, it's kind of hard to trust them in general. I'm not saying him particularly, but in general it is. Just because a lot of the time they do, talk their book. So what is my opinion on that? Well, of course, it's like buying protection, right? So I can relate this concept to what I do with options, for example, like over here. I will buy some puts, for example, against my long positions, not necessarily because I think things are going to go down, but because I want some downside protection because, you never know when a Black Swan event's going to happen. Like by definition, that is why it's a fucking Black Swan. It's an unforeseen event. It's an unforeseen event that produces, a humongous move and, well, it's not so pleasurable to be around. So what do I think about that? I think he's probably smart. He's probably incredibly wise. Like obviously he's very incredibly wise. That's how he kind of got his reputation. And I guess the implication of what your question is like, does he know something that we do not? Well, we all know that a Black Swan event is a non-zero probability. So that means that it can and will happen. But a Black Swan event, by definition, is something that nobody foresees, or at least very few people foresee. So it's a warning sign. Maybe. Take that as you will. But I'm not the best person to ask about that. I don't know. I don't know. A healthy amount of I don't know is just the proper answer for that question. There's no way that I can peek into his mind. I don't know the person at all. Do I think that there's going to be a Black Swan event myself? Well, yeah, at some point there is going to be. Absolutely. It's just when, right? When is the question. Okay. Hey, there he is. ZY. I'll call you ZY, sir. Sir, it's the guy with the hard to pronounce name. I recognize you, sir. Is there a playbook for generating targets off divergences? Yeah. 10 simple gets played a lot, or 9, depending upon how aggressive you want to get, and 20 get played a lot. But there's more to it than that. But it sounds like you're kind of already seeing usually what I do. If you're in the program, which I don't know if you are or not, there's a video in the program called I think it's like Divergence Mastery. It should be after the RSI module, and it goes over like nuanced situations with what targets are typically like, depending upon what sort of divergences that you're getting and whatnot. MS says, hello, Krown. Hello, sir. AXS, USD. Yeah, let's check out this one. No one asked about this one yesterday, and it's probably one of the more hot charts in cryptocurrency land, I believe. Yeah, let's look at this one. Okay, let's record this one too. All right. Okay, here we go. Quick little analysis on Axis, symbol AXS versus US dollar over here. This one being requested by symbol MS from our lovely community. He's looking at a 4-hour and daily, and he's asking 57, then 39. So I'm guessing you're saying, is there going to be a drop down of $57 first and then 39? Well, first off, the first thing that obviously stands very, very clear to me on this asset is that it's continually in an uptrend, and actually probably one of the best charts, if not the best chart in cryptocurrency land. Pretty consistently since November 2020, actually. It's a very, very impressive chart, actually. I know you didn't ask about a weekly, but I do want to see it. Weekly still good here, so long term, I would not be looking for any sort of like major reversals just yet. And I would not be looking realistically for anything below about $50, in the next 14 days, if that. This thing's pretty fucking strong, to be fair. Let's go down to the lower term time frames right here and see what we're working on. All right, so you got a bit of a range low going on right here, meaning that is your 62 and 85 cent region. So as long as you're below there, I do look at this as essentially just higher lows within the making, and yet again another very healthy consolidation. Although it is a bit sloppy, but you know, it's an altcoin. These things are known to do such things, but looking at it right here, as long as volatility is below 50 percentile and actually trending a bit down, I do look at this as very likely putting in a healthy consolidation as long as, key point, as long as those higher lows are protected, which is right around, again, just below 63 bucks, we'll say. For the daily, you have a very obvious continuation point to the prior all-time high above yesterday's high, which is 75.80 or so. You did sell off on the test towards your 3-spot extension right there. Now coming down to base off the 2-spot 272. So to me, the question is, does this thing pull back first to the bottom side of this range or not? Now, to give your question a bit of credence, to directly answer what you were asking earlier, could it go to 50, or is it going to go to 57 and then 39? That would not be my first look on this one, man. Again, trend first always. And if this thing does take out, let's just call it again 63 bucks, I would be looking towards your first target of 57. Yeah, about 57 or so. And I would be looking for a bounce there first and foremost. If things do fail, which, you know, you would essentially confirm by closure below about 57 bucks on a daily specifically, then I would extend targets down to about, between about 45 and 50. I don't think that's what's happening here, though, to be fair. But for right now, I would expect to see some daily bearish divergence on the highs. That is going to happen. And we actually do have bearish divergence right here. This point, and this point. My look back period is a little bit too low to get this one right now. Technically, this is also not confirmed as a local high just yet, and it will only be confirmed as a local high again if you do go below 63 bucks, preferably on a 4-hour closure as well. Until then, I'd be looking at sideways and up on this one still. I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but higher term time frame still very, very good here. Not too much history right there, but weekly, same thing as well. You know, you're going to put in some bearish evidence at some point, but I don't know if you're there just yet. So sideways and up is what I'd still be looking for on this one. See what momentum also to say over here as well. XS. See what this one's doing right here. Weekly will actually turn down with a weekly below 59.35. Daily will turn down or remain down as long as below 72.41, and 4-hour will be actually crossing up with any sort of a closure above 69.69. Great number right there too. So, you know, you can kind of see that for now, range bound, man. I wouldn't get too bearish on this thing until it actually takes out the range lows. Below there, though, yes, I would start to agree with your first target. Very likely a bounce there, failure there, and then you probably could look a little bit below 50. But for right now, man, I'm not necessarily the first one to front run a reversal here. And long term, like when we're talking long term, we're talking like months down the road, probably. I would very likely be looking towards an extension towards probably even 90 to 100 bucks actually. That would be more long-term again, because typically you do not like actually top out of the 3-spot extension. You probably go to like the 272, the 3618, which are, you know, decently higher than where we're at right now. Actually did get pretty damn close right there. Did get to 83 bucks about. But yeah, we do have a bit of a daily jewel sell signal, however. Now, we don't see the AutoFib supporting it just yet. So again, I'm inclined to say that this is first and foremost going to be a consolidation. A little bit of short-term downside, yes, to 65.25, but that is still yet again another high low. So I would express caution before getting, you know, too bearish on something like this until that condition is met. So, you know, the invalidation points are very, very clear here, but long-term, I'm always going to like a chart that looks like that. So fair enough. Hopefully that was helpful. And there you go. Nice one. All right, cool. Maria Morales says, Hex made me a millionaire. Please check out Hex. Did it make you a millionaire in US dollars or Hexes? Actually, it's been a pretty damn good chart. Yeah, we've looked at it a million damn times, but let's see. I'll still be bullish on this one. This thing's still fucking bullish. It's probably gonna make new all-time highs somewhere around like a quarter to 30 cents, maybe over the next like month or two. It is starting to create some signals of divergence over here, but that would also imply that it does go for one more drive to the upside. So it probably hits like a quarter first, and then comes a little bit down. But nice, congratulations on hitting the Millionaire Club. That's great. That's awesome. Hopefully that serves you well. Patrick S says TNC USD I bought at 24 cents on a loan, unfortunately. Oh dear Lord. So you're buying shitcoins with money that is not yours. This ends well. Oh fuck! Hopefully you're trolling, man. I have to stop myself right now from just laying into this chart as much as possible, because I don't know if you're joking or not, and I'd feel very, very terribly if you're not joking. Need this to get to 27.5 cents. How good are my chances, sirs and zers? You will not be going to the Copacabana, sir. Mark Morco says, hi, Krown. Can you please check out MTV Coin Multivac? Okay. Oh, is this a vaccine thingy? No, it's probably like a vacuum company. No, it's a fucking crypto. God damn it. Oh, bastard. Maybe daily, weekly, holding longer term. Is it the answer to all my problems? Thanks. It's actually pretty fucking good here. It's just about to pop above the last weekly high. I'd be looking for extension all the way up to like about 105 cent or so. Weekly hidden bullish divergence right here, back in the bullish control zone. Weekly jewel also with some upside curvature. Good. Daily breaking out. Good. Yeah, very good chart. Very good chart for an altcoin. Bullish, especially even on the short-term time frame, as long as you're above 0.6 cents, 6.5 cents actually make that. Very good, actually. Very, very good. Dustin Lane says, good day, Sir Krown. Good day, Mr. Sir Dustin. Could you look at Solana for the 4-hour, 12-hour daily? Sure. Okay, let's see what Solana's doing over here. The daily perusal of Solana's. Short term, wouldn't mind a short term move down to like 66.66. Great number right there. Long term, though, this is continuation. Weekly bullish as fuck. There's a technical term for this. It's called bullish as fuck. You already played off the 1.414 all the way down to the 272. That's what we identified yesterday. Long term, over the next few months, I'm looking for a continuation to probably 125 to 150. Sometime around maybe end of year or something, but pretty fucking good. Pretty fucking good. Bullish heavily as long as you're above 50, basically as long as you're above $60, let's call it. Chester Adlin says, hello, Zimzer, thoughts on CRSP, CRISPR therapies? Yeah, this is the gene editor thingy, right? Kind of scary, but also kind of cool. I think China probably already figured this shit out. You know, they're making like kids with 3 eyes or something. Okay, long-term, daily, weekly. I'm mortgaging my house to buy several-year hold. Will be homeless. Will you be homeless? I mean, it's a pretty good chart long term. I actually think it probably bounces here too. I'd only be concerned about this one if it goes below about 105, 106 region. Monthly, a little bit short term toppy here. Yeah, I think it's going to trade down to like 106, but I'd like to see a bounce right around there. Long term, I don't look at this as bad, man. This looks like reaccumulation to me. But you do have a bit of a range going on, right? So know where your risk is. I don't know about mortgaging your house. Probably not the best thing to do it on loan because you don't know when these things actually happen. Below 96.71, that's like where the buck stops. But anywhere below there, very, very bad. I'd even say anywhere below about 105 on like a daily close, you're going to run into some problems. But for right now, sideways in a range. And it probably does test some downside from here. I wouldn't be surprised to see it go down around that 105, 106 region. But does it start to close higher term time frames below there? I suspect it probably bounces around there. This one's like pretty decent long term. Very nice uptrend long term. But hey, know where your risk is, sir. And I would maybe, just look, I'm not your fucking dad, but maybe just consider what would happen if you are wrong as well. Like, do you want to live through that? Because it can and will happen or at some point, it's non-zero probability. It's worth considering. Ali Al Shamari says, actually hearing her laugh makes me feel like we're going to 100,000. Thanks, bro, for everything. We are going to 100,000. We're not just going to 100,000. We're... That's exactly right, sir. Rosario Mazzetti says, boopity again, sir. Hello, sir. You must be a robot. POWW, breakout or fake out. Okay, let's... Oh, ammo. Oh, it's a great name for an ammo company. Is it a breakout or fake? I mean, it's neither right here. It's consolidating. This is a healthy consolidation. Oh, what do you know? Gun manufacturers or ammo manufacturers doing well throughout this whole pandemic. It's certainly because people are not concerned about what's going on. Pretty damn good as long as you're as long as you're above about 669. Great number right there too. But I'd be looking for sideways within this region. Probably bounce back up a bit too. Breakout above $9. Monthly, pretty shitty actually over the long period of time. Very shitty over a long period of time. Where's your risk on this? Your risk is below, about 669, I'd say. And I'd be looking for this one to tumble over on a breakdown. But for right now, regular bullish divergence off the last low. Momentum also is turning up, and BBWP on the floor says that this is a consolidation right here. And momentum also says this is probably a bullish consolidation alongside your actual structure, which is an ascending triangle or reaccumulation formation, you might even say. Valentin Diligence says, can you check out NEL hydrogen long term? Sure. Simple NEL. Okay. This thingy on Oslo Exchange. Can't say I've ever traded there, so check it out long term. Okay, to me that means like a weekly, monthly. Very likely bounces here, but long term pretty wrecked. Heavily bearish as long as you're below $20, but can easily bounce back up somewhere around about 16 and a half, $17. Monthly is wrecked as fuck. This is the head and shoulders top right here. This is like literally the top, and you're getting your first markdown. Long term, I'd be looking for this thing to come probably all the way down to 350, but that's like, maybe a year or two away probably. Yeah, pretty fucking bearish, man. Pretty bad. But yes, short term bouncy here. Anywhere below $19 is just another lower high. So take that as you will. Now I would switch around to being massively bullish on it back above about $20.5, but I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Hey, always need to know where your risk is though. Jolo says, hola, Senor Krown. Hello, I am Senor Sir Krown. You are Sir Jolo, or also Senor Sir Jolo. Appreciate hey, man, my pleasure. Can we get your analysis on FTM USD 4 hour daily weekly? Sure. All right, cool. Phantom, is this one still popular? It ain't bad. Let me get rid of this chart, though. We don't need all them dirty lines. Stupid lines. Fucking stupid lines. Let's see, should I record this one? This one's actually quite interesting. Yeah, let's record this one. Alrighty. Quick little analysis here on Phantom symbol FTM versus US dollar. This one being requested by Joe Lowe of the community. He's looking for a 4 hour daily and weekly. Well, first thing on the 4 hour that stands out to me is that this is actually a very interesting volume signature right here. It's a change of behavior as far as the last few months go, which is of quite big interest. And you do have a nice little breakout uptrend, even on the daily as well, which we'll get to soon enough. But looking at this right here, I would be looking for this to have trend continuation. We see hidden bullish divergence actually populating itself right now with any sort of a closure here or higher on this next 4 hour closure. Back into the bullish control zone for the 4 hour RSI, and this is going to be on expanding volatility as well. So I would be looking for that expansion with upside continuation. And this is essentially pretty damn good as long as this thing's above 40.5 cents. Daily is more or less continuation here. Next general area of interest would be somewhere around about 54.5 cents or so. And then if you're looking at the weekly, this is actually one of the better altcoin charts. Hidden bullish evidence on the weekly RSI, 1, 2, 3 drives actually, and back above the exponential right there. Weekly Jewel has positive curvature as well. Probably looking for this one more long term, not like today or tomorrow, but like over the next month or so. Probably pop back around the prior highs, maybe even go for another run. I'm actually curious to see what momentum oscillators look like over here as well. Symbol and the US There we go. Binance, 4 hour upside as long as you're above 38, let's just call it 39 cents. Daily upside momentum resumes as long as you're above 44 cents. Weekly upside momentum as long as above 16.28. So long term looking good. Short term, you're going to see some ebbs and flows. Obviously, there will be pullbacks along the way, but I don't really see anything too bearish about this. Even on the 4 hour, as long as you're above, again, about 40.5 cents. Below there, I would start to look for moves back down around about. Actually, some pretty damn big moves down around about 32 cents, maybe even as deep as 30 cents even. But right now, I think things are looking pretty damn good here. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go. Nice one, sir. Nice one. Very much indeed. All stand. ERSDL on the short term. Thank you, sir. Sure. ERSDL. This is the Unfederal Reserve token. All right. Down. Bearish as long as you're below about 34 cents. See what time frame is you looking? Yeah, you are looking for short term. You got a bit of a high right there. You got low, high, lower low, lower high. I'll be looking for general continuation somewhere down around about 26 to 27 cents or so, and very likely a bounce there. I know you didn't ask about a daily, but yeah, you're getting into a bouncy area relatively soon. So short term down, yeah. And again, if this thing is going to bear trap similar to Bitcoin above 45,800, this thing above about 35.50 or so is where I start to draw the line on this one. Even back above like 34.5 cents would look pretty damn good for a bit of a bear trap with a move back up to the highs of this run and probably even beyond. But for right now, downside angled on the short term specifically. Christina P says, I'm open. Nice. Velo. All good, Christina. Nice. Open to fill the gap. There we go. And this is very much a family-friendly channel. Velo daily, weekly 4 hour. Okay, what is... I don't think I've seen this one before. Trades on Finex, so it can't be that bad. Oh my fucking lord. What the hell is this chart thing? It's barely been around. Okay, maybe there's another... we can pull up more history on, maybe KuDerp. Yep. Oh, there we go. Thank God for KuCoin for all of your shitcoin needs. Pretty damn good move right there, to be fair. And this thing probably does continue on a little bit more towards 78, 79 cent region. Like this very likely is a reversal here. It very likely is a reversal. Short term, might come back down to 58, 59 cents or so. Let's see what the 4 hour looks like. I think you already got that move actually on that last wick down. Let's see what the hourly shows. Yeah, it's right there. This one's continuing. Ma'am, I should say. I'd like to see a daily close above the 200 simple moving average in this case, 69 cents, and I'd look for a retest of these highs over here and probably continuation. This thing very likely is putting in a double W reversal. Momentum oscillators are very good. Expanding volatility alongside daily RSI actually just fresh again into the bullish control zone. This is actually quite a nice setup right here. Long term, I'm not so sure about this shit, but it ain't bad right there. And if it does take out this last high, I'd look for this one to go on for a nice run to like 114, 115. This not happening anytime soon, but maybe if that were to happen, maybe like in like late September or something. Lance says Bitcoin versus Corona case chart. Check out John W. Rich Kit. Do we have to do fucking coronavirus shit again? I'm so tired of the fucking coronavirus bullshit, man. I'm so tired of it. Yeah, we'll look at it really quick, man. But there's more to life than a fucking virus, sir. There's more to life. It breaks my heart whenever I see people arguing about it in the fucking in the Discord. It absolutely breaks my heart. We'll look at it. What is it? Third post down. Okay. I mean. It is a little, I mean, it's not like I'm laughing at it, but it is a little bit strange to see those charts actually lining up. I'm sure there's an explanation for that. Like, every time I see people arguing over the fucking virus and goddamn Discord, it literally breaks my heart. I'm like, God damn it. Pena, not a fucking Geddon, man. There's more to life, for the love of God. There's more to fucking life. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, man! Justin Tomiak says, Elsa, why doesn't he sigh when other people ask for it? Why? I need answers? What? I don't know. MS says, any recommended channels about market cycles? Thanks. No, I don't think I can recommend any channel in good faith because I don't really watch the other analysis channels. I'll watch like news channels. I'll watch like Elio Trades and the like. I'll watch like a Crypto Zombie. I'll watch some of my other friends. I'll watch like a Jason Pizzino. But I don't really watch like other analysis channels, not because like other people aren't good. I'm sure that there's like many great analysts on YouTube. Obviously there's like a fucking million channels, there's like a million channels that are much bigger than mine too, man. Like if you just search up Bitcoin analysis, there's like all kinds of channels with like 250,000, 1 million, subscribers and whatnot, which is great, awesome for them. So perhaps check out them, see what they're up to. But I'm not the best person to ask about that. The reason why I don't really watch other analysis channels is because when it comes to trading, I kind of want to be in like my own fucking wind tunnel of thoughts, because you can be a great analyst but not a great trader. But more to the point, you can be a great trader and someone else can be a great trader, but you guys will be doing two different completely separate things. And while both of you guys might be actually completely right, it's going to it might get into your head a little bit, or at least for myself, I find myself somewhat easily influenced sometimes, especially when someone puts together a good argument for a bull or bear case, as to why something's going to happen. It's just like, okay, well that's great, but does that fit into my plan? Like my plan's very specific, very very like specific to myself, so I don't want to mess around with that at all. So yeah, again, I'm sure that there's a lot of great channels. There you go. Robert Daru, hello sir. Could you take a look at FTT USD please for in daily? Sure, yeah. This is FTX's token, right? Let's see how this one's doing over here. Not the best short term. A little bit of a short term lower high right there. That is 47.75. Same area as Bitcoin below 45,800 or so. Short term, I probably would be looking for a retest of these lows at about 43.70 or so. Daily, kind of hard to get bearish on this one on the daily as long as you're above the 21, 43.68. Let's see, can we make a... Yeah, we can. Okay, so any sort of a 4-hour closure, let's call it below about 43.5 bucks, which is also a daily level. I would look for a continuation down to about 40.5 bucks. Likewise, if it does have the bear trap right here, which again is possible on Bitcoin too. In fact, the more and more altcoins that we see that are a little bit more kind of angled down direction, the more and more I do start to look at this as somewhat of a relatable idea right here. I would target the highs of this run if that were to happen, but for right now, I do favor the downside a little bit more than the short-term upside, to be fair. Let's see what the 5-day looks like. This one just closed. Yeah, somewhere down around there. You're looking at a 4-hour daily though. Yeah, 4-hour again. Anywhere above there, that would be your bear trap, targeting basically like your $50 to $51 highs. Until then though, a little bit more downside angle. Let's see what it looks like on momentum charts over here too. Just curious to see where this one is. Weekly up, obviously, but daily down below 51.60. 4-hour is up as long as we're above 44. So take that as you will. Okay, cool. Easy Ike says, "Good day to the good doctor and the hysterical fairy nymph." Hey, nice. You remembered the names. Has anyone asked about Cardano yet? Actually, no. Funnily enough, no one's asked about Cardano yet. Cardurpo. Cardurpo. Pretty good here actually on the 4-hour. This one showing relative strength. Yeah, this is really starting to make me think that we might actually get a bear trap here, because we see a lot of altcoins in the same sort of venue. Very fucking interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, this one's still good. Bullish as long as you're above 196, and even short term, this one is looking like it wants to pop back up to 220 or so. We do an analysis on this one, record this one up. I think we'll save that one for tomorrow, perhaps. I'm sure someone will ask about it then. Weekly still bullish. I mean, this thing is very likely to make new all-time highs probably next week or early September. This is very good. I'm not bearish on this chart. There's nothing bearish about this chart as long as you're above 192. Even on a 4-hour, and all these time frames are bullish right here too. Let's just see what it looks like over here. Cardano USD. Yeah, 4 hours good. Daily 196, daily 222. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Could pull back, again to somewhere just below $2, but I wouldn't be bearish on it as long as you're above about 190, 192, I believe it was. So take that as you will. Again, one of the better charts that we've seen, certainly. Green Third Eye says, "Good day, Dr. Derpenstein." That's me. And Cute Laugh Elsa. Hey, that's her, I guess. Can we look at... Yeah, we literally just looked at Cardano, so I think we can probably move past that one, unless you want to look at some of the very specific. But weekly is very, very good, man. If that's what you're specifically asking about, monthly, same thing. Like I'd very likely be looking for new all-time highs on this thing into early September. Chester Adlin says, "Long term on GLXY daily weekly." Okay, what's up? Yeah, it is raining pretty hard here right now. Galaxy on weekly, monthly. I imagine this one's probably going to follow somewhat similarly to Bitcoin, right? This is Brian Armstrong's. No. This is who owns this one? It's the fucking guy with the bald head. You know who I'm talking about. Anyways, a little bit of range boundness right here. I wouldn't mind another test back down around about 17.25 to 17.5, but I'm not bearish on this. Nothing bearish on this as long as you're above $14 or so. Long term, I look at sideways within this region for like a month or two as very, 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 very healthy and likely to lead towards an upside resolution. In this case, I believe, probably to new all-time highs. Yeah, monthly is a bit sloppy here. Sloppy. Mike Novogratz, that's it. Jack's got it. Thank you for that, Jack. There we go. Maybe someone would know. I'm looking to hold for a few years. Morgine parents' house. Oh dear Lord. All good, man. All good, Mr. Chester. All good, sir. J.K. Sachs says, "Can you check out Sophie Nasdaq stock?" Sure. Short term, next 3 weeks. Short term is not really 3 weeks now, but I guess I'm glad that you offered up a definition of that, because I would have said like a 4-hour chart. This thing's not really been around for too long. We can look at it weekly. Down, pretty shitty. Pretty shitty. Heavily bearish as long as below 17 and a quarter, and I'd probably be looking somewhere down around about 12 and a half. Monthly, terrible. Bad. There will be bounces along the way, of course. Maybe even a bounce from this current area right here could bounce up all the way to 15 and a half, and I'd still be pretty fucking bearish on this thing, man. Not a big fan of that breakdown right there. Not good. Like I said, there will be bounces along the way, but long term is down. Super Ghoulie says, hello, sir. Hello, sir. Can we have a look at Algo BTC? Sure. Algo Rand, right? Algo Rand. Where are we at? Found it. Oh, man, I'm losing my tan. Oh, my God, I'm losing my tan. Let's see. Did you say versus Bitcoin? Oh, you did say versus Bitcoin. Sorry. All right. US dollar is actually pretty good right there. Almost did it again, too. Actually, versus Bitcoin, certainly not as good. Short term, I'll be looking for a bit of a pullback from this region to like 2180 or so. Okay, you just asked about a daily, but is this a reversal? It's hard to judge these altcoin Bitcoin pairings. I don't really have a good opinion on this. I do think it will push through here after a bit of a short term pullback. Again, somewhere around about like 2180 to 2190. And then I'd look for this one to push through to like 2400 or so. This one's actually decent on the daily from momentum oscillator perspective, but long term, kind of a sloppy chart, hard to make much out of, but I do like daily RSI right here. That's actually a good signature, as well as daily Joule as well, actually. Not bad. Jack, there he is. Ethereum USD short and medium term. Let's do it. Let's do it, sir. All right. Ethereum, very similar to Bitcoin right here. Actually, can we look at Ethereum on... It's actually very similar to CME Ethereum, so we'll just go with the regular spot one here, huh? And you're looking at short and medium term. Okay, short term, we'll go down to a 4 hour. Same thing as Bitcoin. You got your bear trap confirmation back above about 31.15. In fact, you know what? I'm going to record this one. Nice and quick and easy. Here we go. A little bit of a quick Ethereum analysis versus US dollar here, requested by Mr. Jack Asselman. We're looking at short and medium term timeframes. That to me means 4 hour and daily for the most part. Anyways, we got a very similar setup to Bitcoin right here. We got a silver death cross, in this case, between the yellow 21 and the green 55. There is your last lower high. We do have a lower low right here in comparison to this last higher low over here. So we do have an official downtrend on the short-term timeframes. And this analysis is essentially bearish as long as we are below that last rejective high at 3100 or so. That implies that we will initiate a bear trap back above 3110, you could say. Let me just actually see exactly where this level is. Yeah, about 3110, implying that if we were to trade back above there, don't even need to see a close above there, but just trade above there, I would look for another run towards the highs of this run at about 3300 and very likely long-term continuation to basically basically like 3600. But for right now, on the short-term timeframes, as long as this downturn does remain, I would be looking and I would be angled towards just below 2900, right around here, actually. Oh, I guess I have a nice blue box right there. Oh, nice. I've already charted this one out. Sweet. Anyways, my point is that I would be looking for a bounce around that region and then very likely a little bit lower over time after that too. Make no mistake about this though, I'm not long-term bearish on this. I would be looking for at most a move down to like 2800 or so. Before a potential bounce and reversal. Keep in mind we still have higher lows on this thing as long as it's above 2500. So this thing is actually rather interesting right here. And again, that bear trap scenario that we did speak about in the short-term timeframes will be relevant above that level. It's albeit a little bit further away from price action right now, but important to be aware about this current moment in time. Anyways, over here on a momentum charts, let's see what we're looking at. Daily momentum will remain to the downside as long as below 3300, so that is not turning around anytime soon. 12-hour will be the same direction as long as below 3184, so that's even above the the bear trap area. And 4-hour is actually very aggressively down right now too, and will remain to the downside as long as we're closing 4 hours below $3,005. So, if it can hold here for a little bit longer and essentially, chop around that $3,000 level, then I would start to really explore the potential bear trap situation in this case. Again, confirmation back above this little high right here. But for now, I would still be looking for downside angling on this one. Let's see where the 20 simple is currently coming in at, as that would be, we're right on it right now, actually. That would have been a very easy target. In this case, yeah, we are seeing some signatures that this one very easily could put in that bear trap. But again, the areas for confirmation of that are very, very well defined. So I think I'll just leave that one as it is right now. And yes, I would be short-term bearish on this one. I would be looking for it to come down probably somewhere around 2,900 before the next general bounce, with potential for continuation down about 28 if that bounce fails, meaning that it puts in another lower high. Anyways, hopefully that was helpful, and there you go, sir. Nice. Nilan Jean says Solana long-term. I don't think there's much of a long-term to give you on something that's been around for like a month. No, it's been around for like a year maybe. Good. It's fucking good. I don't know what else to tell you, man. We've already kind of looked at the long-term. Maybe like later this year or early 2022, I'd probably be looking at like 150 to maybe even 200 if things really get crazy. Who knows where this market's going, but this one definitely one of the best coins, all things considered, as far as charts go. Very, 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 very powerful right there. If you're just specifically asking about long term, that is. And when I say long term, I'm talking about like 6 months down the road, sir. J Rod says, "Hey, Bruz and Elsa." Oh, there we go. And highly moral women's. When looking at trend and divs, do you only go off of closures and just ignore the wicks? Well, obviously, yeah. Well, for divergences, let's split this up. First off, for divergences, it can only ever, for the love of fucking God, ever be closures. The reason why is because RSI only measures it only goes off of closures, not fucking wicks. So do you understand how those things are calculated? Aziz was a unicorn here in Australia, by the way. Was he really? What does a unicorn mean, sir? Anyways, for trends, trend, you can use wicks. Wicks, okay, so the thing with wicks versus closures is that wicks will give you potential more reward or give you like, potential front run signal, but at the expense of typically having more risk if you are using that to manage both your entries or exits. In both directions. So wicks, it's different. Divergences, however, can only ever be on closures because RSI only ever measures on closures. MS, symbol MS is back. About my last question. Okay. I watched Ray Dalio's video about debt cycle. Any channels that talk about market and economics? Just dropped my thingy. Whoopsies. Okay, market and economics. Yeah, there are some pretty damn good economic channels, but they're kind of blinking my mind right now. Fuck, man, I'd have to come back to you on that actually, because I need to look through my own library list, and I don't think this is like the best time to do that right now. But perhaps we could discuss that tomorrow. Yeah, market and like actual economic channels. Now, I think like the obvious old timers are always going to be good guys to be listening to. So I that's kind of where I'd start to lead into that question, but no one at like the top of my mind is coming up right now, unfortunately. Ray Dalio would obviously be one of them, but the other fucking Paul Tudor Jones going to be a good guy. I don't know if he has a YouTube channel, but those sorts of guys. Oh, there you go. There you go. Oh, unicorn means a 1 in a million type of person. Yeah, you could say that. You could say that. But aren't we all just unicorns? We're all snowflakes, sirs and sirs. We're all unique in our own special ways. We are all sirs, however, too. BK says, sir, last one, GHST. Yeah, let's look at GHST. Where this one's landed today. We haven't looked at it just yet. Very sloppy, as you expect on altcoins. We've hit all of these targets right here, it looks like, based off those measured moves. Is this just another higher low in a series of higher lows? I'm going to probably say yes, first and foremost. I mean, this is just ridiculous hidden bullish evidence potential right here. Where's your last low? Like over here, you're making a significantly lower low on RSI right here. I'm inclined to say that this probably does, if it is going to continue onwards and upwards, does put in a low right here. This is a very bizarre looking chart to the eye, but yeah, I'm going to be respectful of this one. It ain't bad. And we even have hidden bullish evidence populating itself on the daily RSI too. And that would probably target a move back to like 240 or 250 or so. Maybe this thing just even continues on. I'd like to see the weekly closure, but this is still pretty good long term. Other than that, I don't really know where to go with it. But, nowhere that starts to change around. And that would be, again, below about 188, 187 region. Scott, thank you for that, man. But feel free to have a message too, man. Shrumba says, Litecoin. Can you look at Litecoin long term, I'm guessing? Sure. Man, Litecoin never gets any love anymore. Never, ever, ever. Weekly, resting on the 21, probably tries for a bit of a bounce here, but short-term time frame's got the same sort of bear trap potential scenario in line as all the other majors. Back above 173, 174 would do it for me, and target moves back up to 184, 185 region. But for now, short-term is downside angled, and technical targets would be 160 to 161 short-term, with potential continuation of 155 for a bit of a daily higher low somewhere around there. Now, daily does look toppy here, to be fair. This one would be a lot more on the relatively weak side, especially considering that this thing's been around for a long time. Got nowhere near its prior. No. It did make new all-time highs. Oh, wow. Jesus Christ. How nasty is that? Just barely makes a new all-time high and then immediately gets smashed down. That is just filthy. That is filthy. Oh, God. Oh, my God. I don't think I don't have the balls to trade something like this. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, I think that's all I got for this one, though, man. Very, very similar to a lot of the other majors. John Evans says LT when stonks. Wait, what? LT, is this a symbol? Or LT when stonks bubble pops, where will Tesla approximately retrace to? Okay, so we are making an assumption here, right? We're making an assumption that Tesla will trade with the rest of the market, which probably will. I mean, everything kind of does trade with each other. Where would Tesla correct to? I mean, if hey, first off, I'm gonna say something crazy. This isn't a fucking bubble right now. The reason why it's not a bubble is because, I mean, the reason why asset prices are going up is because they keep on printing money, you know, which you might think is a bubble, but I think this one's actually more likely to make new all-time highs before it does come down. Long term, where would it likely to be to bottom out at? There's no way to know because we don't even have like a macro top just yet. This is not a top by any stretch of the imagination as of right now. In fact, this looks like more continuation to me, if anything. Long term, so I wouldn't be judging like macro cycle lows until we get like a macro cycle top first. Then we can come up with some more interesting ways to actually kind of judge that. But for right now, like let's say it was to top out right here, I'd be looking somewhere down around about 145 to 150ish region. But we're making an assumption that's just not clarified and also not confirmed at all right now. And again, I do not think it's going to top out right here. This one probably continues onwards and upwards, maybe into the end of the year. And then maybe we'll get like a 20% correction or so. Okay, Steven Pitcher says Luna USD daily weekly. Maybe I take back my statement that stonks are not in a bubble. I mean, it is a bubble. It's just there's a reason why it's a bubble. Like the Fed balance sheet keeps expanding because they're basically injecting into the fucking stock market, and then the money machine keeps on printing it as well. So you got fundamental reasons why it's going up. So is that a bubble? Is it not a bubble? I don't know. I think the real question is it healthy? No, obviously fucking not. It's a very bizarre time we live in right now, but yeah, take that as you will. Steven Pitcher says Luna USD 1 hour. Yeah, we need to look at Luna. This one's been getting a lot of love. Holy shit. I'm going to record this one too. Here we are looking at Luna versus the US dollar. This one being requested by Steven Pitcher of the community, looking at it daily and weekly here. So I actually just happen to have a bi-monthly chart pulled up right here. The technical term for this is fucking bullish, actually. If we go over to a weekly, it would also be in line with the fucking bullish analysis. Weekly Jewel still remaining with its positive curvature here, making new all-time highs, which is in price discovery. And weekly RSI, while at some point it will make bearish divergence, we have nothing resembling a local high just yet. So it's very likely to make new all-time highs first before pulling back. Anyways, looking at it daily, are we getting some signatures of tiredness here? Yeah, a little bit. Daily RSI is rather high, but again, it can always go higher. More importantly, daily Jewel is in an area that you really haven't seen. I mean, has really marked the tops or around the tops of a lot of rallies, like right on over here. This is your July highs. This is your March highs. This is your last little August highs before that pullback. But all of those were pullbacks before further continuation. So take that as you will. This one is still long-term very good in my opinion, and even short-term, I'd be looking for new all-time highs as long as this thing's above $24.50. Now, below $24.50, things do change around a little bit for the short term. I would look for a move down to about $19.50, and very likely a higher low being constructed right there. But this run has been pretty much unabated on the daily since your 10th of August higher low right here. So at some point it will pull back, but I suspect that you probably have new all-time highs first. See where the momentum lies in this one. And where are we? 4 hour remains the upside as long as above 29.64, which we are clean $3 above right now. Daily 32.40, which we're currently at or about at, and weekly still remain to the upside as long as above 10.25. So very, very good right there. See what it looks like actually over here too. Oops. Yeah. Luna going fucking lunar. Let's see, Binance. Yeah, when it does pull back, I'd be looking for 26.5. Somewhere around there is probably good. But weekly, I'd be looking for essentially the weekly trend to continue as long as it's closing above the top side trend band. You're about to get your first closure above at the end of this weekend with any sort of a closure above 25.30. So I look at that as weekly trend in motion as long as that condition's met. So looking very, very good there for the long term. But you know, when we're talking about long term, we're talking about long term. You can have some short term pullbacks within the context of a long term uptrend. But for now, looking rather nice. So hopefully that was helpful, and there you go. Nice one. Oh, dear Lord, Elsa, Jesus Christ. It's already 2 hours in. I don't think that we have time for those comments, unfortunately. Okay, Scott says audio. Oh, wow. Thoughts on audio TikTok partnership? I don't know anything about it, but let's check out this chart. We are looking at a 4 hour and hourly here. Okay. Daily looking fucking great. This one's going to retest prior time highs and very likely make new all-time highs. 4 hour, very fucking good. Extremely bullish as long as you're above 297. Below there, I'd look for another retest of about 2.5, 260-ish region. Hourly, continuation. This is literally freshly breaking out right now, it looks like. It's not necessarily broken out just yet, but this one looks about ready. Hourly RSI, very good. Expanding volatility on trend continuation with another higher low printed. I like it, sir. 4 hour powerful as well. We're looking for this one to make new all-time highs probably next week. Looking good, sir. Looking very good. All right, Boulder Club. Hello, Crowns. Hello, sirs. I am Crowns. No problem, man. Can you check out AR Weave 4 hour? Okay. Is this like a augmented reality thing? Let's see. Selling off the retest of your prior highs. That is to be expected. That's not a problem long term. 4 hours still fine. I'd be bullish on this thing as long as you're above $24.5 weekly. Good. This one's very likely to make new all-time highs next week. Any sort of a closure above 28.80, I'd be looking for new all-time highs next week. Very fucking good chart on the weekly, but you're not looking at that. You're looking at a 4 hour. Yeah, short term is actually a little more difficult here. Yeah. Okay. I suppose I'd be still cautiously looking for continuation on this run, but when you do start to come back down below, what was it, $24.5, I would look for a deep retracement down to about $20 before general continuation. Long term, though, again, make no mistake about it. This is a very good chart. I'd be expecting this one to make new all-time highs. Volume signature really confirms this one. Weekly RSI also looking good there too. CRX says, good morning, sir. Good morning to you as well. Have a look at ANC. Okay, 4 hour and daily. ANC, huh? ANC. USD Anchor Protocol. All right, not familiar with this one. Looks like it's very young, and it is very young. Looks like it's in a bit of a short-term sell. Yeah, after retesting your breakdown from May 23rd. Let's see how we're looking like right here. Oh, and the 4 hour reveals all. As long as you're above 282, I'd be looking for this one to actually trades further north of here. We still see 4 hour jewel buy signal, or it's not a buy signal, but it is still upside curvature alongside expanding volatility. So I would be looking for that one to give another drive up. Same thing on 4 hour RSI with that hidden bullish evidence probably gives them one more try to the upside. Somewhere maybe even as much as like 350 to 360 or so, but I would be looking for pullbacks around there. Definitely not a great chart long term. I mean, this is relatively weak certainly, but hey, as long as the rest of the market kind of keeps it up, this thing gets to join as well, it looks like. Hey, thanks for that, Braden. I appreciate that, man. I suspect that there was probably a message alongside that as well, but holy fucking moly, man. My voice is wrecked. What's up, Justin? I see you, Mr. Justin Young, my fucking man. Gohan's mom, there he is as well. Nacho Fiat. Gotta love it. Sifu Shocks. There we go. Johnny Button, my fucking man as well. Meccan, there he is. Real Vision's good. Real Vision's a good macro guy. Mr. MS, to call out one right there. All right, I think that's it for me, man. My voice is wrecked and I'm quite tired now, but I do want to pop back on over to Bitcoin. So a lot, after looking at a lot of the altcoins, you would have expected to see very similar things to Bitcoin, which we did not see actually. So I would say that that does kind of strengthen the potential of a bit of a bear trap right here. This current down has actually been done on relatively light volume. So anywhere above 45.8. Just on, even on a tick, I would say that this is going to be a confirmed bear trap, and I would be looking for Bitcoin to rally back up to the highs of this consolidation, about 47.5 to 48,000. and probably make a move towards 50,000 plus late this month or early September if that were to happen. But for right now, as long as this is consistent right here, I do look for this to come a little bit lower in line with stock market, and then probably set up for bounces, which would admittedly be higher lows on on your higher term timeframes, which is still more or less good. So a bifurcated market right here may be a sign of a maturing market. In fact, could very well be. So that would be actually rather interesting. And let's just do a quick little check on short-term momentum also just for Bitcoin again as well, just to see where they are. On CME specifically, yeah, still $45,000 for the 4-hour, 3-hour shows 45 as well. Bi-hourly shows 44,500 and hourly shows 44,600. So I would say there's going to be a big warning signal that this is going to be a bear trap with any sort of even like a 2-hour closure above $45,000. But again, full on confirmation back above this region right here. Until then, I do still look for this to kind of trade a little bit further to the downside. So take that as you will. I hope this one serves you well. I'm going to be signing off now. Take care and enjoy Elsa's waving hands as you listen to the outro tunes.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR, pitch it, copy, paste it.